Hi friends and fellow intuitive academics, my name is Shelley and I draw from my intuition and my lived experience as a PhD to offer you guidance on your life path and academic journey if you're on one. And today, since it just seems like I hear so much talk about us getting supercharged and upgraded during the solar eclipses that are happening, the eclipses lunar and solar that have been happening, and several other like astrological energy shifts ahead in the immediate future, I wanted to kind of make space to talk about what is your intellectual superpower and maybe ask about how it's being upgraded at this time too. So I'm just going to draw 3 cards to match with our crystals here, and I wanted to choose these kind of like raw, unpolished crystals to speak to kind of like the raw talents that you have that are being developed at this time. Okay, so we got our 3. So let's see what's first. So here with this, it's very like a lavender color shaped crystal. I wonder if you can see it better like this. Yeah, it has like kind of darker lavender stripes to it. You have the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. This is like an aquamarine and it almost has like this velvet sheen to it. It has that kind of velvety texture as well. And you have empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Last you have, it's like a green color, almost like a pale glass green, ocean glass, something like that. And it has a few like chips and cracks, fractures. And this is Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. How appropriate. So I'll leave this on for a few minutes. Sorry, just a few seconds. So if you want to pause the video and use your intuition a bit longer to engage with the imagery, the words, or the crystals to see which one pile or more are attracting you. And then I will see you ahead in the chapter that has your reading posted and time-stamped. Hi, Blue Flame group. So you are drawn to this card, the Blue Flame Spontaneous Awakening, Activation, Integration Time. And this kind of, I don't know why I want to say striated. I never say that word. Striated crystal with lavender and like dark purple and white. Something interesting going on with like the layers building up over time, the sediment settling and making layers out of this. That something like that is coming through as important to your reading, because if you can see in the depiction, there is a light in the shape of like a human figure, but I'm not sure if you can see behind the blue white light, there's like a more violet light. And it even looks like echoes of other figures behind. So it really makes me think of the layers, the sediment kind of settling over time to build the specific structure of this crystal, echoing in the iterations of you as a soul developing over time, creating these layers to become a unique whole. Yeah, so I don't think it's a coincidence at all that this card came out with this crystal. Is there something else I want to pick up before I read the description from the authors. Yeah, that would be the message, and the integration of those layers is really what's coming forward as the key moment here. And I'm not sure that I'm seeing your superpower yet. I think it's because you're awakening and coming into your superpower. But your intellectual superpower has something to do with past lives, past versions of you, and integrating them into the whole to create the unique superpower, but unique you as well. So leaving off there, let's read the description. So they say, this is a card of awakening and energetic upgrades. Great. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. In the West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening, and it can feel very scary when we're going through it alone. Elsewhere, they can be seen as auspicious experiences, with those going through them being treated with tender care. The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, activating a physical kundalini awakening and deep cellular and DNA healing. Yeah, something about healing on even micro levels, energetic levels, is part of your integration, really coming through strong here. So your intellectual superpower has a lot to do with energetic healing of yourself and possibly for others. Many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world. This isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate, and awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded. So like integration has to come with awakening, or else it's like not a complete process. If you're in the midst of an awakening, and they say in parentheses, the process never ends, treat this time as deeply sacred and give yourself ample space to ground and integrate the extreme changes that you're going through. And I want to read you the Starseed activation. It says, I allow myself to surrender to the awakening process that's right for me. I take things slowly and integrate my experience each and every day. Okay, so that is exciting news to hear, and I feel like you're already in the middle of this awakening, probably already feeling the messy parts of it that are deeply uncomfortable because, like the card said, it's totally revisiting like who you are, even on a cellular level. And I would say just think of it as growing pains. They're temporary. They're super painful, and they're like totally transforming you, but they're temporary, and it's a total metamorphosis, right? So it's uncomfortable, but you come out the person that you're aiming to be in your soul, in your heart, in the end. So with that, let's go ahead and get started on our reading. So this first deck will do what you need to know right now about your academic superpower, and I think we're going to get a little bit more specific about what that superpower is. And then in the second deck, we're going to do a reading on what's the upgrades that are coming to you with the superpower, especially at this time in April 2024 that I'm recording. We're in the middle of a lot of like astrological shifts. There's a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse. There's like a really long Mercury retrograde. There's Jupiter conjunct Uranus coming up, which I trust my astrology sources that that's a big deal, which it sounds like it is. My astrology is kind of basic, and I use it as much as I can in tarot, but energetically, I think we're all feeling similar things no matter what our practices are. And so I wanted to use tarot to see what's coming out for you at this time in your academic journey, your life path journey, or just like your intellectual journey. It doesn't have to be in academia, right? Like however you used your intellect. Okay, so let's get more information about your superpower. First of all, Four of Pentacles, reverse. Seven of Swords, reverse. The High Priestess. I can definitely see that as a superpower coming in. The Eight of Swords. Really interesting to see these next to each other. And also the High Priestess kind of framed by the Seventh and the Eight of Swords. Okay, I'm going to just talk myself through it. The first thing I'm noticing is the similarities of the colors to each other in the card, these cards. The whole deck isn't purple and blue. So it's really important, I think, that this came through as all purple and blue. And it really reflects the purple and blue from your topical, your center card, the blue flame. All right, the blue flame. Something with the color blue is very significant in this, what you're going through here. Why is it significant? Well, what I was seeing here was like a whirlwind of integration of the purples and blues with these cards. And it's like the good and the bad, the ecstasy and the joy, and like the terrible disappointments. Everything that you're going through is all kind of like integrating together. And like I said with the stone, becoming its own thing, its own unique thing. And so it's like, it's almost like there's no good or bad. It's like, in that respect, like everything's good, like everything's you. Yeah, so some things that I picked out in those striations are a loss of security, a sense of chaos. Probably the foundations of your security, financial and home life, were like upset recently. And you're kind of like, I'm not standing for this BS anymore. You have this energy here, the Seven of Swords. And it's like also you're liberating yourself. Do you see how the poses are exactly the same between the High Priestess and the Eight of Swords? It's like the figure in the Eight of Swords woke their third eye up in this awakening. Right, this is an awakening. Your awakening allowed you to see that you are the High Priestess. And like these swords are nothing. Do you see how in the Seven Swords here, it's like almost the aftermath. It could be like the aftermath of the Eight of Swords, that the figure just like snapped and all the swords came falling down. It was all just an illusion meant to keep you outside of your power. And now you're coming into your power. What is that power? Okay, we have to get more cards. Five of Cups. Reverse. Nine of Wands, reverse. There's a lot of like there's a lot of like, I don't know, like it makes me want to say like Greek tragedy. Like there's just a lot going on that you've already been through, and it's like you've been through it all. Ooh, part of your power is in partnership. Your power is activated in partnership with a mirror soul or a like-minded person who is on a very similar journey as you. There's total and lasting success at the end of this in building something together. Yeah, oh, interesting. Your intellectual superpower is activated when working together with someone else. I would say one of you is overcoming. There's two strengths here, right? Because both of these distress type of cards are in reverse. So I want to assign one to each in the partnership. You've both been through both of these, but one is defining, the Five of Cups reverse is defining one person a little bit more, the Nine of Wands reverse defining another person a little bit more. The Five of Cups reverse is like you changed your perception. That person changed their perception. They found hope in like very dark circumstances. They had lost hope for a while, and then they refound hope, and their strength is to be able to find hope even when it's lost. Hope is a similar thing with the Nine of Wands, but it's like this person endured and held on to that small glimmer of hope the whole time and never let go until the dawn came about. So this person never lost hope, but their challenge was to hold on to it no matter how small it got and just ride the hurricane. Yeah. This person had to like swim through a dark ocean of like hopelessness and then like find that needle in a haystack hope again. Whoa, it's very intense. But that's where the power comes from, going through something so deep and intense like this. And then when these two come together, it's activated into something else. Harmony of some sort. The flow goes between the two. What is this power that happens in between the two? Your intellectual superpower, which is enhanced in activation with other people, other like-minded people, or specifically one other person, is that you can help people change their perceptions and liberate themselves like you did and find their ultimate joy. A lot of people are misguided on how to find their joy. They're like, there's so many people going down the wrong path. And you're just able to like put up a sign and say like, wrong way. You need to change your perception and go this way to reach the Ten of Cups. It's like they're following like a illusionary Ten of Cups. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Like, this is really hard for me to see, but I'm gonna pull out maybe this sacred medicine to see if this can like give us some more concrete ideas. Plantkin sensitivity. Wow, there's some really interesting things, like clues here. First of all, the healing affirmation says, my sensitivity is my superpower. So I think that's clearly what your intellectual superpower is your intuitive abilities, of course, with the High Priestess, and your sensitivities. It says, I claim this aspect of my nature with pride. Maybe that's something that you haven't been proud of, you've been ashamed of, but it's actually your superpower. Okay, this is talking about how like the earth and plants, the energies of the earth are calling to you, and it's like you have the ability to hear it. So this is very much your intellectual superpower is like a knowledge of earth energies, particularly nature, like plants. I want to read this one. The beautiful nature of plants speaks to you at this time because your heart and spirit are extra sensitive and your ability to feel and go deep is heightened. Yeah, so that's your superpowers too, your ability to feel and go deep into something. Yeah, because you've been through the depths in these different ways. Depths of the soul, like dark night of the soul, if that is something you're familiar with. It says this is a gift that has developed over lifetimes. That's something we've picked up here. Something that has developed over lifetimes, not just one. And we need the hearts who can sense, see, and know without any words spoken. Oh, yeah, so your intellectual superpower doesn't require words. It's all that vast knowledge that's left unsaid. And you're able to work in that way. Possibly you can bring voice and value to the things that don't have voice. Yeah. Okay, so let's I'm gonna organize this and then we're gonna do what your upgrade is what's happening with your upgrade at this time, and then like things that you can look out for as you're upgrading to help you through the process. Okay, so let's get some info on your upgrade of your intellectual superpower coming in at this time. What to look out for, how to kind of lean into this, integrate this upgrade, as well as everything that you're going through right now in your metamorphosis into the blue flame, or with the blue flame, through the blue flame, as kind of like an essential part of your intellectual superpower. You're going to have a huge insight, a huge sense of clarity on something that I think that you feel like it wasn't even on your list of things to clarify. It's just something, say, that you took for granted, or you took for face value. And this shift is giving you a huge sense of clarity and a new direction of perspective on something big, something for your career. For some people, actually, this could have been like a block. Like, you felt like you couldn't think through something all the way in your research or your work. And suddenly, with this shift, things are lining up and you're able to get through that block. No, this is an interesting one. It's like, it's kind of like you're taking your new idea and leaving the institution that you're at. Yeah, I don't know if, like, say you're already like working in an institution, or you're already, like, say you're a student, a grad student, and you have a program and an advisor, and it's like you realize that you need to go somewhere else to bring this idea to fruition or develop it further. And you're essentially like coming out of your hermit cave and you're starting to share this idea and connect it to others. Yeah. I think you didn't know where to go with this idea before, but now you do. This whole awakening is helping you do that. Wow. Do you see the castle here? It looks like the castle in the Seven of Swords. You're leaving this castle in the Seven of Swords. You're going to this castle in the Ace of Wands to start fresh. What? However, you're not going to fully reach your clarity on your own. You're going to need mentorship to get there. But this is essentially what's happening in your upgrade, that you get clarity on the thing you want to pursue and how you want to pursue it. And then that allows you to align to what mentors to work with. Yeah, say for example that, okay, for example, I can share with you some of like my experience in a similar situation that I was trained in anthropology, and so I learned all these ethnographic methods, right? And they all kind of they all worked on the assumption that you would be working alone as an ethnographer in a culture to understand a society. Basically, like you as an individual are the tool of knowledge. But then after I graduated, I realized that I wanted to learn more about participatory methods, which I never got trained in my grad school. And so now that I've been pursuing that, I've been realizing like, okay, who can I connect with to develop this further? Who can I learn with, in learning circles? Maybe I don't quite have a mentor anymore now that I've already graduated, but I learn from my peers, right? So this could be a situation from you too. Learn from their experiences. So it's something like that. It doesn't have to be super huge, like you change disciplines. It's more like you change an approach, and that slight shift, right, puts you on a trajectory that goes in a very different ending than the one you were on, but you're very happy with it. And yeah, so in the first reading, right, we're talking about you pairing and your power, your intellectual superpower being activated in partnership with at least one other person. There's a theme running here too with like learning circles and like-minded people, learning from others to upskill. I want to draw one of these oracle cards and then one more oracle card. Jingle Dress Miracles. Ooh. Let me see what I feel from this. The blue and the lavender integrating again. This is very much like your energy, the striations, right? Integrating. And it's like you're so in command of that integration. I think this is the result, and it'll feel like a miracle to you, and you'll be a totally new person. But let me read you the description, the interpretation from the author. During the 1918 flu pandemic, a little girl had fallen deathly ill and was unable to recover. Her father had a vision of dancers wearing a dress with 4 rows of jingling metal bells, and when the sick child saw the dance, she joined in, and the medicine poured through the movement of her feet, curing her. This medicine comes forward to teach you to believe in the possibility of healing and the existence of miracles. What miracles do you want to call in at this time? The energy around you now is open to bright, brilliant possibilities. If you could wave a magic wand, what would you wish for? I think your superpower has something to do with having a magic wand, metaphorically, and like manifesting something miraculously. Your healer guides, ancestors, and animal spirits are gathering around you to deliver the answers to your prayers. You have a lot on the spirit side on your team. Everything is possible. Just as the little girl was cured by the medicine of the jingle dress, you too hold the capacity for something equally as powerful. coming to you now. Yeah, that's very much like your awakening. It's coming to you now. You don't have it fully yet, but you're coming into that power. Where in your life do you need miracles to touch you? Where have you felt stuck or hopeless? There is an opportunity for your situation to shift in a different, beneficial direction. Stay open to circumstances changing, for miraculous happenings are here. Yes, this, where have you felt stuck or hopeless? That theme of hope and hopelessness is very, very strong in the thread of building up who you are here and what your superpower is. I have to say, it is about kind of like igniting hope for others as much as for yourself. It's like amplifying the hope that you found for others. The healing affirmation: I am open to miracles touching my life. So let me draw one more oracle card. I'm feeling like to pair this off. 38 Wolf. Oh, this is interesting. This card is all about trusting your intuition in working with others. So you did get a lot of messages about like your intuition, your psychic powers coming in with the High Priestess before, and then now, and also you're getting messages then and now about working together more. And so you may have been pulling away, protecting yourself and working alone as a lone wolf for a while. And now that you're being called to work with others to activate and amplify powers between you and others, it's calling you to trust your intuition about who to work with, trust your gut instincts, your animal instincts about who you can trust to be on your team and who you should just kind of part ways from. You will always know the answer when you tune into your intuition on that. Yeah, and so you're on a really cool, powerful journey, and I'm wishing you so much love with that, hoping you continue to work with love. Thank you for watching, and for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and questions. If you were drawn to another card in the pick a card section, I will see you in that chapter for that reading. If not, I will see you next time. Hi, Empathic Starseed group. So you are drawn to this card, the Empathic Starseed, which says energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours, and also this turquoise aquamarine, not turquoise, like aquamarine blue kind of shard of a stone, I would say. Yes, I was taking in the energy first of the card, and the things I noticed were, if you see, this figure is kind of floating, and there's a balance between like aimlessly floating and getting caught up in the currents and being able to use your like fins, so to say, to navigate the currents and to understand how the currents work. I would say you're kind of at that stage where you're realizing that you don't have to be just like pummeled by the flows, that you have some kind of agency and knowledge to tap into to be able to navigate the flows for yourself and for your higher purpose as an empathic starseed. And the other thing I was drawn to was this mirror here. And so there's a couple messages there in the mirror. One is that you have a very easy ability of being able to see through the looking glass to other people's, inner worlds, other people's souls, kind of like psychic abilities, empathic abilities, doing that through feeling as well. The other interpretation is that you kind of need to start thickening the membrane between your world and other people's worlds, because they can get a little bit blended together, particularly as an empath, which I've already started using as a term in your reading, because that is definitely something I'm picking up on with this card and with the energies I'm feeling. And so I feel that you're very much at a stage where you're navigating what that means as an empath for yourself. And I can already name that that is your intellectual superpower. That you can weave your emotional and empathic sensory knowledge with the traditional knowledge systems, with your intellect and your rational brain. I think it's what's harder for you is separating the two, which you've kind of been forced to conform to the systems of knowledge that we go through, especially in if you're like a student or you're an academic. It's hard to navigate the two, but I think you have found ways to kind of weave in your empathic knowledge, your sensory knowledge, your intuitive knowledge. Yeah, intuitive abilities is coming through here as your intellectual superpower. You've been able to weave them and like camouflage them in what's more accepted in systems of knowledge that we accept more widespread, like the university, something like that. We haven't gotten to your upgrade yet, but I already sense that your upgrade is going to be to kind of bring forth the empathic and intuitive knowledges more so that they can be enhanced alongside like the rational thinking, the physical based thinking. I feel like that's meant for you. Of course, with what I already said about being able to disentangle your energy from others, to be able to work with energy better. Yeah, I want to read the interpretation to see if something more comes through for you that's usable from the authors. Empathic starseeds are here to shift the world through their physical presence alone. They don't need to do anything, quote unquote, beyond being here, thanks to the energetic change their physical presence causes. Due to their highly sensitive nature, empathic starseeds can struggle with being on Earth and in a physical body. Many are prone to addiction and depression or tend to mistake other people's feelings and moods for their own. Natural introverts, they tend to prefer spending time alone or in small groups. Crowds can be overwhelming for them. If this card appears, consider lightening the load energetically. Don't put yourself under such pressure to go out into the world. Be gentle with yourself. Allow extra time and care to recover energetically. If you're feeling pressured to keep up a certain pace, instead put on the brakes and treat yourself like a precious baby. Do whatever you can to take the pressures of the world off your plate. Switch off to switch back on. In today's world, it's normal to feel that we should be doing more, but perhaps being present in our life is enough. This could be a phase you're going through or simply how you're being called to live your life. If your work involves giving to others, right now you're being called to keep something for yourself. You don't need to transmute it all. It's okay to look after your own growth and healing before feeling you should offer it to the world. Indeed, it's necessary if you want to continue to do so sustainably. So your starseed soul inquiry here is, how can you take better care of yourself energetically? So I did notice that our candle went out around when I was saying this. When it said this could be a phase you're going through or simply how you're being called to live your life, and I noticed the smoke then. So that is directing me to confirm that this is not a phase, it's how you're being called to live your life, this empathic starseed way. So wonderful. That's beautiful. I know difficult to go through, but that's why we're here in this reading, to get more advice for you. So I felt inspired to switch up your candle to a pink one, to soften into our reading, to inspire self-love and care which has been coming up in the card. And Mocha is right next door, messing up the crystals, and she'll probably be jumping into your reading at some point. But let's go ahead and get started with what you need to know now about your intellectual superpower with your empathic and intuitive abilities, your sensing, your feeling, and how that essentially feeds in and makes up your intellectual superpower. And then after this, we'll do a layer about the upgrades that you're going through at this time, especially with the everything happening right now in April 2024. I mean, it's like eclipses, Mercury retrograde. Is like, what was it, like Jupiter conjunct something in April 20th? Something to look out for. Something I'm still learning about. But yeah, there's a lot going on. So that will come in the upgrade part. Oops. So you're getting first the 9 of Cups and the Tower. And the Hermit in reverse. And then I'm gonna reserve one more next. I feel like that's a good option. Wow, something significant and uncomfortable happened recently with the Tower card to shift you out of what would be like kind of your go-to mode of being more reserved and quiet and holding back your opinion. It has shifted you to be more expressive, essentially because of the situation. And I have to say that that did shift you towards a wish, an aspiration that you have for yourself, possibly to do with connecting into the world more by like making yourself more visible. The word asserting yourself is coming to mind. I don't know if that's meaningful for some people, but I wouldn't use that word too powerfully, but that's what's coming in. It's like not just asserting yourself, but like presencing yourself, like making yourself more powerful by being visible into the world. Mocha just crawled up onto my shoulder, but at least she's not blocking your view anymore. So so that's really the message that came through, is that this very deeply uncomfortable thing, I don't want to say it's a terrible thing. It feels especially terrible to you, really upset you to the point that you decided you can't just drift along with this anymore. You need to like redirect the flow of things. You need to make a stand, and like if it's a stream, you're like making a dam or something and like redirecting the flow so that you respond to this thing, that it's not just normal. And you're basically becoming the person that you have wished to be through the actions that this forced you into, to take you out of your normal energies. So I'm going to pull this up. 4 of Swords reversed. That's interesting. The first thing that came to mind is like you're coming out of a deep rest, a deep reflective period now. I think that you've been able to process this a bit, and now you're able to integrate, to see, to take the lessons learned. And I think you're ready to kind of move on from this energy and leave the past behind. I hope the mic is picking up Mocha's purring. It's so sweet right now. Okay, I'm kind of constrained to keep pulling from here, so maybe that's meant to be. So you got 6 of Swords in reverse. You were wanting to leave the situation, to run from it, but you decided to stay. You built a team, a well-functioning team. That's what you decided, to stay and build a team to redirect the flow of this thing. Oh, it came to beautiful fruition. It brought the light into this terrible situation. If there were 3 people, the 3 of you were key in centering this light coming in to kind of like combat the darkness of the situation. You're putting up boundaries. You're basically stamping you were stamping out your territory and putting up hard boundaries and laws, maybe protocols and policies you put in place, addressing this terrible thing. Yeah, I have to say, because the Tower card looks like many like urban buildings, it's some kind of institution or organization, like formal structure of people. 2 of Wands in reverse. This is feeling complete to you now. I would say you've gained a lot of power and you're like kind of, like I said, ready to leave the past in the past and take the lessons learned. But you don't, you're like, you're ready to know what is next for you, but you're not quite sure yourself. And I get the sense that, yeah, there's still something clicking into place with that. Maybe still some minor lessons left to click into place before you learn that. Mocha just put her little paw up and pulled off this from the top of the deck. 5 of Wands, reverse. I guess that would mean, from what I was just saying, that there's still some conflict resolution. They're minor things, but it's like, if you see this, it's kind of like untying the knot. Like the knot is not a threat anymore, but it's like you want to like really get rid of the knot by untying it before you move on to the next part. So Mocha has given us a tiny bit of space, so I'm going to use that space to ask about what's this upgrade that you can expect to do with your intuitive, empathic knowledge as your intellectual superpower. What can we know about how to work through that upgrade, and yeah, what is it for? 2 of Pentacles, the Moon in reverse. So you do get clarity on how to move ahead with building something and possibly going somewhere. King of Cups in reverse. Ooh. Strength. This is other people, the King of Cups in reverse. Something you learned is how to work with people who abuse their authority and are like emotionally unintelligent. So they can just be like not self-aware of how their emotions work and it's hurting other people around them. But because they're in a position of power, like say they're a boss or a supervisor, it's kind of getting out of hand. Like they're getting away with that like workplace emotional abuse. It could be worse, yeah. And you've developed the strength specifically to deal with this type of people. So you're not, I'm sorry to say, you're not running away from this type of people. You are basically a warrior to go around and keep correcting the imbalance of the situation. However, you've developed that way of doing it. From your personal experience in whatever this tower moment was that you just completed. This is becoming clear to you now. It's going to become clearer too as the time goes on. something here with the Two of Pentacles. This was highly charged for you, but you're able to balance it more. You know how to strike that inner balance to make things work. As Mocha just got up, she revealed again these cards, like kind of highlighted them. Now I see why. This is the thing you developed. I forgot about that. This is the technique you've developed to kind of, let's say, defeat these abusive, manipulative, out of balance people abusing their authority, by building a team and drawing in the light. So you just repeat that recipe wherever you go. You are this person who can tame the lion, essentially. However, you've learned to do that. And of course, you're an empath. So you've likely done that by showing strength in emotional connection, emotional understanding, and particularly healing a situation emotionally and empathically, and through a lot of love, patience, understanding, and bringing to light issues that are murky for others with a team, not just alone, but first you build your team around you, and then together you build the light. A team of 3 might be pretty significant for you, either 3 people or 3 arms, 3 sections of the process, like, like 3 committees, something like that within the broader effort. Wow. You get better and better and more skilled at this, to the point where it's so easy and it happens so fast the more you do this. So it's not going to be the same suffering that you've gone through because you've developed that strength. It's going to be like, oh, just another day at the office. So weird to say that, but just another day at the office, you like vanquish this terrible thing that was happening wherever you end up next. Like it was nothing, because you have the key, you have the code. And it's just like you get to work. You're very balanced about it. You bring in the light. Done. And you can be confident in this, that it will work every time that you do this. You'll only get stronger about doing this, and like basically they're no match for you. And you're liberating a lot of people with this. Yeah, with the Queen of Swords. It's so similar to the Justice. It's like the Justice Major Arcana energy is like embodied physically by the Queen of Swords, who goes about is like executing the justice, basically. The ideals there. Yeah, I think that's pretty complete. I feel like I want to pull one oracle card to complete your message. Let's just see what comes through. Of course, Peaceful Warrior. That's exactly a great way to finish off what we were talking about. Let me read you I'll take within the energy first, but I've never read this description, so I want to read you next the description. First thing that's standing out is the figure's long hair that kind of goes off into infinity, striking a connection with the dress in the empathic Starseed. What I was saying before about feeling your own flow feeling your own flow of energy amongst the whole ocean of energy that you're in. It's like you find a way to define that better for yourself. By doing that, you establish an inner peace that enables you to go forward and fight the good fight, to be the peaceful warrior as well as the empathic Starseed. Like I think I need to emphasize for you that, like, yeah, you're empathic and like you're very like soft and caring and easily affected by energies, But you're also this warrior. You have incredible strength. So it's not like one or the other, you're both. And so maybe reconciling that in some way for yourself. I think you need to always remember that you are this warrior. You're not just aspiring to be this warrior. You are this warrior. You always have been, and you're just being up leveled now. I also see here that you're going to always have guidance along the way. So if you feel a little lost, just tune into yourself, click with your signs. It could be hawks or eagles. It could be anything else that will help you align to your path. Okay, let me read for you. So there's probably something important for you in here. Peaceful Warrior number 49, Potencies. In times of upheaval and chaos, we often need fighters and defenders, but we need those who carry a steady and open-hearted presence even more urgently. I just feel like we can stop there at the first sentence. That's exactly it from this whole reading. This is you. Let me continue. This is what is being asked of you at this time. When you think of the archetype of the warrior, what comes to your mind? Can you align this with a vision for peace and unity? You are handed a spiritual weapon to wield with compassion and discretion. For you can hold fierce power and harmony simultaneously. Dang, that's just what I was saying right here with the empathic starseed and the warrior. You can hold fierce power and harmony simultaneously. That is your superpower. You are asked to take a stand as an ally for those in need in some way. This may be voicing your truth, marching, donating, or tending to others. Please know that the potency of your love is what is needed, for it ripples out far and wide. The potency of your love is your intellectual superpower. No need to separate that from your intellect. I'm just adding that in. Let me read it again. It's time to rise into this version of yourself, knowing that you make a difference. While there are many who armor up for battle and fighting, this will not be the best use of your energy right now. The world needs your gentle spirit, remembering that softness is strength too. Yeah, your strength card. Sink into your role as a peaceful warrior and know that as you walk in this way, you are so much more than enough. I'm going to read you both the sacred ceremony and the healing affirmation here. You might want to try the sacred ceremony. A spiritual guide stands before you and asks you to hold up your spiritual weapon. And as you do, they place their hands around it, infusing it with golden light. This light moves into your heart and helps it beat with the knowledge that your way of showing up is needed at this time. The planet is going through a huge evolutionary phase, and you have an important part to play. Your spiritual weapon is ready for use and will be here when you are called to defend with non-violence. The healing affirmation is, I claim my space here as a peaceful warrior. My fierce love penetrates deeply. That reminds me of what was said in the interpretation for the empathic starseed, that all you need to do is be there and be you. You don't need to really be doing more than that. And in that way, you are a warrior just by being. Yeah, so many warrior and strength coming through. So that's so exciting. It's very complete. I feel like I can close out your reading now. And I hope you continue to work with love on your journey. It is your greatest intellectual superpower. And wishing you so much love, of course, and support. I am sending it your way as you fight the good fight here. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and questions. I welcome those as well. If you were drawn to another card in the pick a card section, then I will see you in those chapters. And if not, I will see you in the next reading. Hi, Earth School group. So you were drawn to this card, Earth School. Life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning, as well as this like sea glass colored chip of a crystal. And I really like this little chip that looks like it's about to fall off. It's almost turned a different color. I think that's meaningful, so I'm just going to leave that visible. So I was excited to do your reading because I got messages for your card, your group, even before I started the reading. And it's such a interesting depiction. So the impression I get is a soul incarnating to, come to Earth to learn lessons. And you just see this soul like diving into these puffy, beautiful white clouds, and their body is sort of made up of a galaxy looking image as the flesh kind of like starts to materialize. And this figure is traveling towards something, like there's a purpose, there's a direction, there's some kind of outcome to happen from coming to Earth, from going through lessons. It's like, yeah, that's part of the journey, but like there's a hovering over that. There's like something more at play, some larger goal. But that's not really what's seen right now. And I don't know if it needs to be seen, but just that feeling of, yeah, there's like a higher purpose. There's working towards something, even if you don't quite know what it is. And so, but the message that I got before I really meditated on the card was that you are a teacher. So your intellectual superpower is actually mastering knowledge to the point that you can, what's the word? It's not like convey it, but like dispense it, like transfer it to other souls, other beings, other people. That's a superpower that you have. So people might tell you like, oh, you have natural teaching abilities. It's actually teaching is an intellect, right? And it's something that's like in additional to the intellectual superpowers that you already possess, beyond teaching. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. So I'm going to read you the interpretation from the book because there are probably messages from the author's writing that will be meaningful to you. So Earth School, Life Lessons, Soul Growth, Study, Higher Learning. Planet Earth is a great initiation for the soul, and life lessons are the curriculum for which we enroll. These aren't one-time lessons, but themes we choose to circle around, deepening our experience of them as we make our way through the spiral of life. Life lessons aren't only about getting it right, they're also about getting it wrong. Remembering that Earth is a planet of polarity helps with this understanding. Each year the study deepens more and more. If you pull this card while you're going through a difficult time, you're being prompted to remember that your soul came here to grow and learn. Try not to look at difficult times as getting it wrong. Instead, see them as opportunities for soul growth. If you can find a way to grow and soften your heart through the highs and lows, your soul is most definitely growing, which is the whole point. Pulling this card can also mean that you're being called to embark on a new area of study or growth. This could be through structured learning such as university, school, or a training course. If you're having difficulties in a relationship, you're being reminded that these are opportunities for soul growth. After all, relationships are known as the #1 way that we grow as souls while we're here on Earth. In the Starseed Soul Inquiry, the question they give you is, how are you being called to grow or learn? So, yeah, you're definitely being called into a certain direction, but I feel for your reading specifically, you're simultaneously the student and the teacher because you've hit a certain amount of circular lessons or cycles around certain lessons that you're able to help pull others along who are in less rotations than you have been. And so teaching is like the lesson that you're enrolled in now. You're very much on a teaching path. And I'm seeing this as a transition, that you're transitioning from student to teacher in many senses, on a soul level, but also in the physical plane. And that you will be cycling around this teaching calling for many more cycles to come. So yeah, this is really a point of transition for you right now. Yeah, it's really hard for me to describe what I'm seeing. It's like, well, let me try. I don't know if this is helpful, but it's similar to this depiction, but I see kind of like a tube, a column, almost like a pipe, like a like a large pipe of light, and it's like you hit a certain transition in color where you're crossing over from student to teacher, but that teacher color keeps going to a point that I can't see. So you're really like up leveling into the teacher energy, and you're gonna be there for a while. It's kind of like this, like going from one grade to another, or going from like like middle school to high school, something like that. It's like totally different game basically. And yeah, I'm so excited for you, because I'm also on this teacher's path, and loving it. And yeah, so what was the other message that I just saw? It was it just escaped me. Wow, that went in and out and I couldn't catch it in time. Okay, so hopefully it comes back. So with that, I'm going to start your reading on what is your intellectual superpower, and what can you know right now about harnessing it, using it in your daily life. We're asking what you can know, oops, right now. And then we'll do a second layer afterwards. We'll do a second layer afterwards to ask about how you can, or what's the up level that you're going through in the superpower. So this is just first all about your intellectual superpower, which you've already established as being as teaching. So you have the King of Cups, and this speaks very much to your style of teaching. So you're one of these like very caring, empathetic, and nurturing type of educators, teachers. And that's a very powerful way to shape a person's knowledge, is through that personal connection, by kind of tending to them as if like a seed, a sapling, and helping them to grow. Yeah, you're very much a natural teacher in that kind of way. Oh, justice. Part of your, two things. Part of your calling to become a teacher is that's your way of bringing about justice, social justice in the world. This is your chosen method and tool of doing that bigger piece of work. The other thing is you're very powerful at being able to identify areas within education that you can bring about more justice to. Yeah, they're not like they're two in the same goals, but that's how I wanted to communicate it. This is bringing about a lot of healing from previous pains, like generations of pains that are baked into the institution of education. Yeah, your mark on education is a very healing one. Eight of Cups. Oh, this is different. I'm reading this differently. It's telling me to be led by love. It's telling you, sorry, to be led by love. Always make those choices. Choosing peace, harmony, understanding, empathy, connection, faith, hope. Those are your guiding lights whenever you feel like you're getting off path. And I do feel like you have encountered this recently, and you're going to encounter it several times again. It's part of your lesson, is like realigning to your path. All those things I said are going to be the pillars of your path forward. And when you hold on to those, the misdirections, the misalignments don't matter so much. You can see that it's a very direct path to the sun, to the light. Okay, so I actually want to get some oracle cards that I think will help us fine tune into your intellectual superpower. So obviously we know it's teaching and your style of teaching and your purpose for teaching, and your superpower is definitely about bringing about healing, like a healing sort of justice through your ability to teach and touch people's hearts through your teaching. But I feel like I want to list a few more concrete superpowers that you can feel confident in. Communication is one of your superpowers. Beautiful. There's very bright and hopeful energy with that too. Intelligence, okay, of course. In case you were doubting it, you're a highly intelligent person, and that's what comes through and what helps you teach. Intuition. You have strong intuitive abilities, which I think go very well with the King of Cups. In your teaching, you tap into your intuition and your intellect simultaneously. I'm seeing it really cool. It's like you're mixing the two in like an energetic vortex, and then it comes through in your communication for people. So your communication is very unique in that you're charismatic in the way that you can communicate thoughts and ideas and impart them to people so that they're inspired by it. Inspiration, yeah, is the word of this reading. It's all over. Your intellectual superpower, if we summed up all these parts, is inspiration. So exciting. Okay, so now I want to get into what's your upgrade during this time of like multiple planetary shifts. Particularly in April 2024, there's so much happening. There's the eclipses. We're in Mercury retrograde for like the entire month, and then there's some Jupiter conjunct things happening that I don't totally understand. You can go look that up more on your own, but I have noticed through other sources that I watched and get my guidance from, that energy is strong and shifting, and I wanted to kind of tailor those messages to your academic journey or your intellectual journey more broadly for this reading. So now we're talking about the upgrade, what you can know, maybe what you can expect or work with ahead of time. 5 of Wands. Let's see, we have room here. Yeah. The World. Ace of Cups reverse. Ace of Pentacles reverse. 9 of Pentacles reverse. So there is a conflict in your immediate future, if you're not already in this right now. That is the thing that is basically shifting your path and closing out this previous path that you thought you were going to be on. This conflict, open your eyes to some something that you can bring about in the world. It's opened your eyes to your superpowers. So I think that you had the chance to notice your healing power and your commitments to justice and your abilities to bring justice to reality, and your ability as a leader in to bring all this about. I think this conflict helped you close out a chapter of where you thought you were going, and you realized actually you're not continuing down that path. You got what you needed from that path, and now you're redirecting, and so it's opening up a whole new world to you. So that's why the Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles are in reverse. Same with the Nine of Pentacles. The beginning, the new course of study, the new job, the new what you thought that you loved, actually. And I'm not seeing this as person, I'm seeing this as like what you thought you loved to do in the world, that all shifted with this shift. You see how it's just like all the hands went that way, and it's not like it's gone, it's just like it transformed into a different Ace of Pentacles, different Ace of Cups. Same with the Nine of Pentacles. It's a different outcome now. It's a different definition of success, different thing you'll be working towards. Success is still in your cards. You're just like the Eight of Cups we said there. Something you chose love somehow. You chose to be guided by love and hope and faith somehow, and it shifted your path slightly. And it's not like you were on the wrong path before. It got you to this point, but it's like you're completing that former path and saying, okay, that's good enough with this. And you're taking what you learned from there and moving on. I'm not sure if this example is helpful, but it's coming to mind. It reminds me of when I was working my way through my undergrad, and I was a barista, and I loved making coffee. This Ace of Cups is also making me think of making coffee, and like to this day, like I'm waiting to buy my own espresso machine because it was one of my passions. It still is, to like craft coffee. It's like artistic for me. But I reached a point where like, okay, I started to do well in school, and I started to see this other path opening up for me in an academic path. And it broke my heart, but I had to like stop taking barista jobs because I needed to focus my time on this path, this soul calling. And so it's like that for you, like you are doing something that you love. It's great, but you are shifting your path now. So it's a little bit bittersweet, but it's really where you'll be so happy going this way. It's really where you're meant to go anyways. Oh, interesting to finish out with the Five of Swords, and it's kind of rounding out the Five of Wands. I see this as you with the Justice energy again. Being challenged, meeting different challenges, and each challenge brings you closer and closer into your power. So this is interesting to finish off with when we started with the King of Cups, which is all about like, compassion, empathy, connection, nurturing, which is what you're doing with your students. That's your hallmark of being a teacher, remember? That's your intellectual superpower as a teacher. You also have this other superpower here, which is like defending from injustices. You have some power here. And that's kind of what these Five of Wands conflicts is bringing out in you. It's like you're seeing that you can win. You're becoming more confident with it. But there's often a lesson with the Five of Swords too, to be careful with your power and be careful how you're using it. So I want to get maybe this sacred medicine for advice on that. Sage stick cleanse. Okay, I think I know what that is, but I wanna get a couple more things to be sure. 4 wands. Okay. Yeah. So there's something deep in your, like, possibly your subconscious, or like some kind of pattern of thought around power and authority that could use some attention, that needs some resolve. And noticing that both of these are 4, so there's something in the foundation there that needs to be cleansed. Yeah. It's like it's not you, but it was like learned behavior, possibly from the time you were growing up. 4 of Wands is kind of like the home energy, the commitments. So like people who are responsible for your safety and your protection, your commitments. Yeah, I want to say there was some kind of failure there. And sometimes you're acting from that wounded place when you become the one who is protecting, you become the one who is responsible, you become the authority. So this is an important message for you when you become that teacher, to heal your wounds first from your past, so that you can take on that leadership, that authority in a responsible way, and create the foundation the way that you need to with this King of Cups energy. Yeah, it's probably, I'm just really feeling with the bear. It's like a parental figure or guardian, like that. Like a failure there in that relationship, a wounding there that has left a crack in your foundation that you can cleanse. You can heal that. Let me just read that to you. The description from the author: Sage stick cleanse. Sage moves its medicine into your body, heart, and soul. So you might want to actually get some sage and burn it, illuminating the areas that need to be seen and acknowledged. Yeah, there's something under there that needs to surface. Cleansing our energy body is something that needs to be done often. If you've noticed yourself feeling heavy or dense with emotion or discomfort, allow this medicine to clear it so it may be transformed. And let me just assure you that it's possible, even though it's deep, possibly far in your past, in your childhood, it is possible for it to be transformed. You are asked to hold this medicine with deep reverence, as it has been appropriated by many who treat it like a prop. It comes forward as a gift for you today, as a reminder of your dedication to all that is sacred. This sage stick asks you to honor your lineages and the lineages of this particular medicine is sourced from. Yeah, so lineages of authority and caretaking is coming in strong for your message. Lighting sage is much more than a cleanse. It is a ceremony of alignment. Your whole self comes alive and returns to vitality and light. This medicine loves you deeply and asks you to hold all your sacred practices with reverence. And that brings up the 8 of Cups card again. Aligning to your path through healing, through love and hope, compassion. All of this is within you, yeah. And this is just a subtle a subtle kind of hint that as you're upgrading, you're going to boost into your power a lot. And so this is really the time to heal those wounds in your foundation. Yeah, and as I was reading this, I noticed it's number 44. So that energy of your foundations is coming in very strong here. It's like it's a great opportunity as well for you to heal this for yourself and just be all the more empowered by it. Let me read you the healing affirmation. As I clear out the old, I return to balance and optimal well-being. Yeah. So this is wonderful, and you are lining beautifully to your path, which is also a gorgeous path of teaching. A lot of souls touched and shaped by your wisdom that you've gained through your cycles of learning and Earth School. And so I'm wishing you so much love on this journey and hoping you continue to work with love as well, and for yourself as much as for your students. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, questions. If you were drawn to another card in the pick a card section, I'll see you in those chapters. And if not, I'll see you in the next video.